Hey everybody, Nikki Burnett here with Taste Life Nutritionist. Taste Life Nutrition. I'm a functional nutritionist. I practice strategic evidence-based nutritional consulting. So I was going through articles that I always like to read, and I'm always curious about the articles that say, eat these for healthy snacks. And I think that that's very confusing because what's healthy for some people is not healthy for others. And what some people are trained is healthy is truly not healthy. So I thought that what I would do is just go through this article. I'll also post it at the bottom so you can see it as well, and give me your opinion on it because I'm super curious about what you think. But this is my opinion of what some people will put out there is a healthy snack. Some of these are truly healthy. But I want to talk about why some of them may not be as healthy as we think they are. So the first one is half avocado on a whole grain toast. Now, half an avocado is great. Whole grain toast, more people are sensitive to gluten these days than anywhere else. I've talked about why gluten is a problem for many, many people, including myself, which I didn't know until later in life. And I don't know that we have the time to talk about it now, but maybe what I'll do is try to post that somewhere in the comments as well so we can refer back to that. But stay away from gluten. Most everybody truly needs to stay away from gluten. It's not the same as it was 100 years ago, and it is creating some problems. So let's do, if we have to do toast, if we have to do something, go for the gluten-free, but it still doesn't mean that it's nutrient dense. Gluten-free anything doesn't mean that it's nutrient dense and doesn't mean that it's a healthy snack. So why don't we think about half an avocado and let's maybe put an egg on it. Let's put some salsa on it or mix it with some tomatoes. That's a great snack. That's really one of my favorite things. We honeymooned, my husband and I, in Chile, and that was their salad. Like here, they'll bring us the dinner salad. In Chile, they would bring you avocado and tomato. I mean, that's a little piece of heaven. Add a glass of wine, and you know, I'm just doing flip-flops. So anyway, whole grain toast, not ideal for most people. Okay. Second option here was a hard-boiled egg with a medium pear. I think that's great. Pears are super yummy. They're really sweet, especially when they're ripe. Hard-boiled egg, my opinion is it should be a soft-boiled egg. We want the yolk to be as soft as possible, even uncooked if possible, because that keeps the healthy nutrients intact, keeps the cholesterols nice, the fat's nice. It doesn't damage any of the proteins or any of the fats. And so if we are able to do a soft-boiled egg, even better, okay? And with that said, not everybody can eat eggs. Some people don't do well with eggs at all. They are a high sensitivity, high allergy food. So not everybody does well with them. But for those that do, eat the whole egg. Eat the yolk. That's where all the nutrients are. So we really want to eat those. Okay, let's see. The third option, 1 cheese stick, 10 whole grain saltines, and a handful of grapes. Okay, I have a big problem with this. First, let's hit the cheese issue. Cheese can be healthy for some people if it's raw. This is another one that I've already talked about on Facebook before. So cheese, if it's raw, for some people might be a healthy food, but not everybody can do dairy. So we want to be really careful with that. Dairy in its raw state can be a whole food. It's intact. It has its enzymes, its probiotics, all of its proteins are intact. It's not been heated, so that's a healthy food if you can handle it. But a cheese stick, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine, especially if it's just conventional, comes from the regular grocery store, all of the junk that's added into that. I would say that is a very unhealthy food and not the best option to go for. I don't even think, the proteins change in cheeses that are not raw. And so I would just say not a good option at all. Okay, 10 whole grain saltines. This goes back to nutrient dense foods, which whole grain saltines are not nutrient dense. It's just a junk food. It's just going to spike your blood sugar, and well, your body's going to hold on to it. It's just going to make you gain weight. There's nothing good about saltine. I don't care if they're whole grain or white flour or whatever they are. Not a good option at all. A handful of grapes, great. Super high in sugar, but grapes are amazing. I mean, who doesn't love a good grape? So I would say yes. If you are snacking with your dogs, don't give grapes to your dogs because too high in sugar, so it can damage and shut down their kidneys. But grapes are wonderful. So a good option there. If you do raw cheese, maybe do raw cheese and grapes. Maybe bring in the avocado. I don't know, what else? Carrots. Let's see, almond butter, things like that. Almond butter is a pretty good option. All right, another one. 1 apple and 1 tablespoon of almond butter, which is what I just said. So apples are great. They're high in pectin, lots of good anti-cancer nutrients in a good apple and in all produce. So really great option there. Almond butter, it's fatty, it's filling. You want to choose one with no sugar for sure, and organic, okay? But apple and almond butter is one of my favorite things. That's one of my go-to snacks. I think it's great. So, sandwich: 1 slice whole grain bread, 1 tablespoon peanut butter, half a banana. Okay, we're hitting the bread thing again. No nutrient density there. Potential gluten sensitivities, big problem. Peanut butter. I have a problem with peanut butter. Peanuts tend to be so high in molds that maybe not everybody has a sensitivity to that or an allergy, and usually when it is, it's an anaphylactic issue. But you're just not getting as much out of a peanut as you are an almond. Peanuts are legumes. Not everybody can handle legumes well. Almond butter is just really a better option. I think it's more nutrient dense. It's much healthier. And it's something that I'm much more comfortable. So when I have clients come to me and say, this is my peanut butter, I'm super healthy, I will actually ask them to switch over to almond butter. Bananas are great. Another favorite snack of mine is almond butter and banana. I might eat almond butter too much, actually. I don't know. It's been kind of a thing for the last month or so. Or I'm just, have this craving, I guess, for almond butter and apples and bananas. Anyway, it's good stuff. So, okay, another option: 1/2 cup trail mix made with 2 parts whole grain cereal, 1 part nuts, 1 part chocolate chips. Okay, so let's think about what the whole grain cereal is doing. Besides just being a processed food, what's in it? Could it be nasty oils? Could it be trans fats? High in sugar? It's not giving you anything. We want you to get good stuff out of the foods that you're snacking on, because we want you to feel good. We want you to feel healthy and not bogged down and sluggish and gaining weight and things like this and just spiking your blood sugar. So what you can do, though, if you want to, is you can make your own trail mix. A couple of things that I've done that I actually love to do. You can use oatmeal, good gluten-free organic oatmeal. Mix it with a little honey and some nuts, and you put it on a cookie sheet, and you can cook it for a little bit. Or my preference actually is to get lots of different nuts and seeds and some sugar-free dry fruits and coconut and maybe some little chocolate chips, low sugar chocolate chips or carob chips if you want, and mix those all together. I actually will keep something like that in my refrigerator for my husband to snack on when he needs a snack. Dates are really intensely sweet. So not something that you want to eat a lot of, but if you're having a sweet tooth or you want to mix it with some nuts and you want to have that little salty sweet, then dates are a really great option. I think they're pretty nutrient dense, but that sugar in there, because they're dried, is really concentrated. So you want to be really careful with them, but they're super yummy. If I have a sweet tooth, I'll have a couple of dates and that sweet tooth is gone. So it's like candy. It truly is. So, okay. And on to nuts. Let's look at raw nuts. I think roasted nuts, although yummy, the roasting does bring out the yummy flavor of nuts. It can also change the fats, and we don't want to change the fats. We want the good healthy fats in the raw nut and seed. So most of those, or most of the time, we want to have them raw. We don't necessarily want to cook them, but sometimes having them roasted is not the worst thing in the world. Okay, let's see. Half cup fruit, diced mango, diced kiwi berries, and half a cup of yogurt. We already talked about dairy. I have a problem with yogurt. I don't think it's a healthy food. Some people in my industry will disagree with me. I don't trust the amount of probiotics that are in them. I don't know if you're really getting the probiotics out of them that they claim are in there. They can also be super high in sugar, and if it's your everyday conventional dairy, I think it's actually creating more harm than good. I think that it's the cooking process, the heating, that it really just creates mucus in the body instead of feeding the body. So I would actually replace that with coconut milk. Or you can do a coconut a coconut yogurt. You've got to be really careful though, because they can still have other ingredients in them that are not things that we want. But it's probably a better option. The body's gonna handle it a little bit better. But I'm just, that's another great thing, is just fresh berries and coconut milk. Delicious. It's amazing. And so you've got, you're nice and fatty from the coconut milk, and you've got a little bit of sugar, and it just tastes great. If you need to add just a touch of honey or something, I think that's fine. Raw honey. So, okay, this one made me laugh when I saw it. I'm not really sure I understand it. A medium pickle wrapped in 2 slices of deli turkey, and literally in parentheses it states high sodium. Little confused. I am looking for some nutrient density in here, and I'm not seeing it. So let's back that up. If your pickle is fermented, if you look at the ingredients in your pickles and it says vinegar, it's not fermented. So if you look at your pickles, you look at your jar, and it says a live probiotic food, or a live food, or something like that, or that it's been fermented, that's awesome. Really great stuff, because the fermented foods mean it's got good bacteria in there. You're feeding your gut, you're feeding your immune system. That's perfect. So this is when you find good, healthy, nutrient-dense pickles, is when they're fermented. I don't like deli foods at all. There's a reason for that. There's lots and lots of chemicals that they put in these foods. One in particular, and this is only a problem if it's heated, one in particular is the nitrate and the nitrites that they put in foods as preservatives. Now, these foods, or these preservatives, are natural. They're really fine, but what we have done is we've kind of made them, I guess we've made them synthetic. And again, if it's a cold food, it's not a problem. But once we take those foods and put them, say it's a bacon, or even if it's a turkey slice, whatever it is, and we start to heat it, which is what we always do with bacon, those nitrates and nitrites convert into nitrosamines, and they're highly, highly carcinogenic. So you're taking good food to something that's potentially cancer causing. So we want to be really, really careful with that. Now, what they're talking about here is just sliced deli turkey. I still have a problem with it. I'm super, super careful about the meats that I eat. Grass-fed, pasture-raised, no conventional turkeys or chickens. I don't eat, chickens that have been caged and turkeys that have been caged, and, they need to be out eating foods that they normally eat. Chickens and turkeys are not vegetarians. You'll look at eggs and you'll say vegetarian fed, and it makes you feel all happy inside. They're not vegetarians. They need bugs, and they need to go out and peck and eat all of, they're omnivores as far as I know. So they eat bugs and worms, but they also eat seeds and grains and whatever they can get hold of. But it's got to be in a pasture for them to get the nutrient density that they need in order to give us the nutrient density that we need. So now, these days though, there are some pretty good deli meats that are out there that are organic, and they're pastured, and they're not full of the nitrates and the nitrites and the extra sugars and all of this stuff. So there are better options. So think about that. Okay, moving on. Half a cup of tuna or chicken salad and whole grain saltines. I don't have to hit the saltine issue again. Terrible idea, saltines. Tuna is a fish. Unfortunately, tuna is a big fish that tends to be really high in heavy metals due to all the damage that we've done to our oceans. So the larger fish hold on to more toxins. So you go for your smaller fish, sardines, anchovies, even salmon, which get really big, but they tend to be lower in toxins. What else is there? There's pollock and mackerel, I believe. You know, some of those are really good options. So you can still make your fish salad and put it on, I'm going to say it, and we've already talked about it, but put it on a gluten-free bread, but put it on something else. Put it on a sourdough bread. Something that I just learned, which is super cool, is, and I would have told everybody up until this point that bread is bad no matter what. Not bad, just not nutrient dense, and we want to feed ourselves nutrient density. So what we can actually do, if you want, which I want to start doing, but you can make your own sourdough bread with wild yeast. It's a little bit of time and effort, but what that yeast does is it actually pulls the healthy nutrients out of the grains. You want to use heirloom grains, not the grains that we use now that have been hybridized. But the yeast will pull the healthy nutrients out, and you can have a healthy, nutrient-dense sourdough bread. Super cool stuff. And so this is the way that it was done, you know, however many thousands of years ago when we started eating bread, when we realized, you know, and that's how so many things happen. Something accidentally was fermented, whether it was wine or beer or meat or bread. These things were fermented by the wild yeast in the air, and it also was a preservative. And so it feeds us, and it's good stuff. And it's cool to go back to our basics. I talk about this a lot. Let's go back to basics. And so a good sourdough bread is a good, healthy, basic food. But not the stuff you get in the store, okay? You got to either find somebody that knows what they're doing, or you got to make your own. So moving on, 2 cups of popcorn, 2 tablespoons sunflower seeds, and 2 tablespoons of raisins. You know, I'm kind of on the fence with popcorn. You want to make sure it's not genetically modified. Is it really feeding you? No. It's not nutrient dense. It's not giving you much, but sometimes popcorn is fun. I get that. You know, just make sure it's organic. You know, it's so easy to go get your own popcorn kernels and pop them on the stove. I have done that, you know, a number of times. And so I think that's fine. Sunflower seeds are great. Really high in vitamin E. I, again, go stick with the raw. You know, some raisins, as long as there's no added sugar, fine. Let's see, 1/2 cup cottage cheese, 6 grape tomatoes, and 1 cup of spinach. Going back to the cottage cheese, it tastes pretty good, but is it feeding us? No. I think it's really creating more damage than good. So grape tomatoes, super yummy. Some people are sensitive to nightshades. Tomatoes, eggplants, potatoes, peppers are all nightshades. So, you know, keep that in mind for those that might have some sensitivities there. Or if you don't know you have a sensitivity, but something weird happens when you eat those foods, think about that. Okay, so we're coming to the end. Let's see. A cup of watermelon and an ounce of feta. Feta is a tough one. I had some feta the other night, but I keep my cheese, I go through phases. It's either raw or it's none, or I'll have just a little bit of, you know, the feta or the goat cheese every now and then, but I keep it really minimum. I'm not perfect, certainly, but I know what my body likes. And so it doesn't like conventional cheese, and sometimes it's just hard to resist. So feta's super yummy, but, you know, let's look at some other options. I haven't seen raw feta as far as I know, but, you know, maybe just try to not eat it at all, or just a little bit. Okay, well, watermelon's great. My sweet mom likes watermelon with salt. I'll never understand that. Watermelon with salt and tomatoes with sugar. It kind of confuses me a little bit. Oh, I did want to hit on the sugar thing, especially back when we were talking about the turkey that said high sodium. So sodium and salt, different. And so this is something that we need to understand. When companies add sodium or salt to foods, it's sodium chloride. I've talked about this before, but we've talked about white salt, and this is the table salt, the salt that you see in the restaurants, and you know, that a lot of us up until recently have had in our homes because we think it's salt. It's not salt, it's sodium chloride. Salt is, I don't know, 100 different minerals and trace minerals all mixed together. It's a healthy food. It's a really healthy food, and it's so yummy, and it brings the flavors out in food, and it's something that we want to eat. And if you're dealing with high blood pressure, it is very likely, if you're eating sodium chloride, that your blood pressure is going to skyrocket. It is also very likely, if you're eating regular salt with all of the nutrients intact, your blood your blood pressure could normalize. Now, many factors go into blood pressure issues. So I'm not saying that this is an end all be all. I'm not saying try it. What I'm saying is we need rich, healthy, whole foods that are fully intact in order for our body to know what to do with them. So avoiding table salt and avoiding sodium in our foods, because it's probably sodium chloride, is a really good idea. But getting your own food and adding your healthy salt, your sea salt, your Himalayan salt, those things are really, really good and very healthy. So high sodium turkey slices, I don't even understand. Okay. A cup of hummus and vegetable slices. I love this because I love hummus, but a couple of things to think about. Look at what's in your hummus. If you haven't made it yourself, know what's in it. So often, if you were to make your own hummus, it's chickpeas, olive oil, tahini, garlic, and lemon. So simple, so easy, and you can add other things if you want, you know, to add flavors, you know, roasted red peppers, whatever you want. Oh, and some salt and pepper. But a lot of companies, because this is not an inexpensive food. Tahini is not inexpensive. Olive oil is not inexpensive. So they're going to cut corners. They're going to put in canola oil. Canola oil is super cheap and super duper inflammatory. Bad news. Stay away from it. Avoid it at all costs. It is not healthy. I don't care if it's organic. I don't care. I don't care if it's non-GMO, which is hard to come by because 93.45% of canola is genetically modified. But canola oil is a problem, and I just stay away from it. I don't care who tells you. We hear it all the time that it's okay to eat and heart healthy. It's not. It's not. Okay. So think about that. Think about other things that could be put in it. I don't know. There could be maybe sugars, probably lots of salt. So just be aware of the things that are in it. But I think the big one really is the canola oil. You might even see sunflower oil or safflower oil. Again, not great options. Olive oil is your best option. Or just make your own. It's so simple. So simple. I love it. Let's see. Celery, a cup of yogurt, and a yogurt buffalo sauce. So I guess it's just yogurt mixed with buffalo sauce, which, you know, sounds pretty yummy. What I would do, I don't know if buffalo sauce has sugar in it. It might have some. Just be aware of that. Get a good healthy buffalo sauce and mix it with coconut milk. Much better option. It's going to taste just as good, I promise. Coconut milk can be savory or sweet. And if you want to thicken it, you can add chia seeds. So put it in if you're going to do it at home, put it in your Vitamix. Put in a little coconut milk, put in your buffalo sauce, and a few chia seeds, and grind it all together so you don't see the chia seeds, and they're not, you know, big clunks, but they're all ground up, and that will thicken your sauce for you. Let's see. A cup of black beans, salsa, and low sodium tortilla chips. Black beans are fine for those that can handle beans. Some people can't. Salsa, I love salsa. A lot of people put sugar in it, but you know, good healthy salsa. It's all veggies, so super good stuff. Tortilla chips, I do love tortilla chips, but I make sure they're organic and non-GMO. And there's some really good choices right now out there that are some cassava-based tortilla chips that are super scrumptious. Siete, if you haven't seen the Siete tortilla chips, it's all cassava, and it's really, really good. I mean, really good. There's some coconut and cassava ones that I've seen as well. And they're a little bit thicker and harder, so maybe a little easier for dipping. But we don't have to do corn. Corn's not really the best thing in the world. I think that, you kind of like with wheat, it has the opportunity. It's had the opportunity in the past to be healthy, maybe a little bit healthy. But today we just don't do the best things with it. I love corn. It's super sweet. It's yummy. I don't eat it much, but I do eat a little bit. Same with corn tortilla chips. Sometimes it just happens. But just to be aware. Caprese salad, 6 grape tomatoes, 3 mozzarella balls, chopped basil. I don't want to repeat myself with the cheese again. I love caprese salads, but I really just want to eat, if we're going to eat cheese, good, healthy, raw cheese. And mozzarella is not raw, and it can't be sold raw. You might be able to get it raw from a raw, if you have a raw milk share, you'll probably be able to do it, or make your own would be even better. That would be super cool. Not something that I've ever done, but that would be fun. Let's see, 1/2 cup of frozen banana, ice cream, and 2 tablespoons of almonds. I do love this. Something that I have done in the past is I've mixed almond butter with frozen bananas, so the overripe frozen bananas, so they're like super, super sweet. And for me, I'll put coconut milk in it. And it's a little piece of heaven, it really is. You can add raw cacao, you can add, I don't know, dates, you can add nuts, coconut, whatever you want. It's really good stuff. And the last one, because it's gone a little longer than I intended, but it's all good stuff, I think. Large sweet potato with chives, 1/2 cup of plain yogurt. Sweet potatoes are awesome, super awesome. And if you've ever tried the white sweet potato or the purple sweet potato, again, a little piece of heaven. They're really good. It's like they have butter on them and you didn't put any butter on them. They're yummy. I love those. I love putting those in smoothies. I love sauteing them, especially all 3 together, all the different colors, really good. But anyway, the large sweet potato with chives, great. 1/2 cup of plain yogurt. Again, the yogurt I don't think is a good option. But again, coconut milk. Do the coconut milk. It's great stuff. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to post this article below. If you have questions about it, if you have comments, let me know. And I'm going to continue to try to do this when I find something interesting. Let's talk about it. So let me know if you need anything. Look me up on Facebook if you like. My website's Taste Life Nutrition. Let me know if you have questions, and we'll see y'all soon. Thanks.